Hey everyone, welcome back to Mark Loeffler Experience. We got another great show for you. We got a Mike from Invest Like Mike on again today. Are you guys enjoying this? Are you liking this? Is this providing value? You guys let me know because, Mike is happy to come on once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week. He doesn't care. He has nothing else to do other than trade stocks with us. So you guys let us know. Comment down below if you want to see more Mike, less Mike, whatever that it looks like, okay? Today we're going to be discussing a couple different stocks. We're going to be doing Pfizer. We're going to be doing maybe a little NIO, and we'll see what else we get into today. Yep, stick around and let's go through some analysis.
Good morning. So have you been watching your screen today? You woke up to a nice green screen today.
Profoundly happy today. It's I don't have to go slip my wrist today. Not like, was it Thursday? Thursday was not Thursday or Wednesday. I don't remember. One of those days was bad. But we're back to basically what we were at, right? So, and we're making profit. We're taking profit on a whole bunch of things. So Peloton, I got out of the space trade. I'm not down the 15% on that one today, so that's all good.
Yeah, no, the market popped up. It's funny because I've been kind of talking about how the market typically seasonally rallies into Christmas and the New Year's, and people tend to take their profits in January, February. The only exception would be if there was something really weird going on in the world, like a trade war or something like that. So it's actually doing what we would expect, right? The market started dipping last week when I was at your office there. We did a video, and it dipped for a few days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But
yeah, that was Wednesday, and notice we didn't do any trades Wednesday because it all looked unsettled. It all looked like, okay, well, this could break out, this could happen. We did do I did Apple put. I sold a put, a super safe put on it though, right? Like a big support level. And we're not even close to that yet, right?
Yeah, we weren't seeing like we were seeing things that were maybe going to break out. We weren't seeing actual signals that wanted to make us buy call options that day. So
yeah,
sometimes I say patience pays dividends. If you kind of waited until Friday or today, you probably have more opportunity. I'm not necessarily surprised. I've been talking to some coaching students all week saying to them, we could keep dipping. If we did, it would be minimal in my opinion, but we're more likely to continue up in general on a week-to-week basis right now, I think.
All right. Well, let's look at some Pfizer.
So normally we were using stockcharts.com. I've been using tradingview.com and stockcharts.com. I find TradingView is actually better. It's just if you're a beginner, it might be a little intimidating when you first look at it. It's kind of like being in the cockpit of an airplane as opposed to a car. It's got a few more options here. But overall, I do like it. So, okay. So this is Pfizer here. Now this is going back to just September, August here for this portion of the chart. If I scroll my mouse wheel here and I zoom out, I can go out as far as I want with Pfizer here. Okay, so if I even go on a long-term chart, you can see the overall Pfizer has been in a bull trend since 2008, but it has had a lot of dips. And more recently, we had a really pretty big dip even over here, right?
Yeah.
So let's zoom in now. So this is, let's see here. The COVID drop is right here. So this represents the COVID drop right there, okay? So if you look at it, after the COVID drop, we've kind of been in a bullish type of a trend. It's been, somewhat in an uptrend. It's been choppy because, they hadn't even discovered the vaccine yet and they were working on it. Notice how it exploded upwards now that they have the vaccine. You see how it exploded upwards even above this level here?
Yeah.
Right? That's due to them actually getting and landing the vaccine. I think on the way up here, people were probably saying, Pfizer is kind of equal to McDonald's or Home Depot in their own industry. They're the top dog in their industry. So I think a lot of people were very bullish that Pfizer might come out on top. That's exactly what's happened here is that we've now broken above this level. Let me zoom in a little bit here. We've broken above this level in conjunction with them having those successful trials with 90 or 95% effectiveness with their vaccine. And they actually just yesterday or the day before, the government did an emergency action to approve this vaccine earlier than they normally would have if there was no pandemic.
Well, the U.S. government, because they started, as the British would say, they started jabbing people last week.
Yeah, basically it's an emergency use. So, I think what they're saying is let's give permission to give it to nurses, sick people, elderly people, and people that are at high risk. and then they can continue doing their normal process before they give it to the general public.
And Health Canada was actually one of the, not one of the first, but they weren't the last to to do it. So that was good news for us in Canada. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So the way this has been moving, I think it's been pretty bullish. And right now, what's happened is we've broken above this major resistance level. So this is the level we fell from during COVID. We just went above it for the first time recently. Okay, now you know that there's other stocks that have been making new all-time highs all year. Pfizer's been waiting for the vaccine.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the other thing
that makes sense, right? Obviously.
Yeah, like that's what they're waiting for, right? And at the end of the day, here's what I want to point out is that this is a whole new revenue stream for Pfizer. This would be like when Tesla didn't have their Model 3 out yet, and now they do, right? They're going to make more revenue because it's a vehicle they were never selling. This is something that Pfizer made $0 per year on, and they're about to make, I don't know how many billions per year on this. I mean, out of the 7 billion people in the world, I don't know if 500 million or 1 billion or how many people will get this vaccine, but it's going to be a heck of a lot. And
yeah, and it's two doses, right? So
and it's 2 doses. And the other thing is too, name something else that everyone in the world is going to take all at once this year and purchase from Pfizer. I can't even think of one. Like, not everyone gets the flu shot. Not everyone gets, whatever it is. Not everyone's diabetic. Not everyone. This is like, if you want it, you kind of got to get it from Pfizer. And most people in the world, a lot of people will probably get it. And
yeah, I mean, they're going to approve Moderna. AstraZeneca has one coming up. There's a fourth one as well that's in the trial. So
yeah, there's a bunch of them going. I mean, here's the thing. Obviously, any of them, I guess, potentially can win. I just feel like if I was the U.S. government, I would want to embrace Pfizer. Like Pfizer is the brand the public will trust the most. I don't know if it's because I'm in Canada and I'm not in America, but I don't even know what Moderna was until they told me about it. Really, like I might have heard of it, but I think everyone knows what Pfizer is, and so I don't know. We'll have to see, but I feel like they are a prime candidate because they tend to be the most recognized brand in their industry, but we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah. All right. So they broke support.
Yeah. So they went through here. So it was resistance. Now it's support, right? Because we're above it.
Broke through resistance. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So we broke through. And the other thing I'll point out that, we've been working together on the charts here, Mark. When it breaks above a level like this, where this red candle broke up and it retreated down again, I then have to account for that new piece of data on my screen by drawing another resistance level. Do you notice how the data, when it broke out, has actually been hanging on to the line I just drew?
Yep.
It's because that's a valid piece of information. Now, can it still drop below there? For sure it can, but just notice how it already took support off of this line once. So often on a big breakout of a level that was set a long time ago like this is back in February, March that this level was set. When you break through there, it's very common to drop and retest before doing the real breakout. So I wouldn't be surprised if it fell somewhere to here and then did a breakout afterwards, okay? And that's kind of a common thing that you'll see that can happen with a stock is that it can drop to retest and that confirms the breakout. So right now it looks like that's what it's doing. And I believe it will take support on either this shallow red line I just drew or the original breakout line. I think this is a retest and rally here.
Okay.
So that's what I'm looking at right now. So if I was looking at this right now, if you invest in kind of a blind fashion into it, I feel like it's a bit tricky to know exactly if it's going to start going up right now. And if you wanted to be patient with it, I think I would kind of wait to see where this drop settles, and maybe when it's starting to come back up would be a good time to try and enter it, so to speak. So see over here, when this rally failed, it provided a level above which someone could have entered. That's the type of setup I'm looking for here. I'm kind of waiting for something like that to happen, and then I think I'm gonna take a call option on Pfizer.
Guys, I mean, obviously, like the last two videos we've done, we're not actually buying a call today. We're looking at this as a setup for maybe later this week, maybe next week. I mean, we might wait until the new year to go ahead and do something with this. It just basically, this is kind of what we look for as a setup for what we're, set up, look for down the road type thing.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing is too. I always say patience pays dividends. Sometimes if you wait, you're provided with an opportunity, or if someone, let's say someone wanted to grab 5 or 10 contracts, maybe I grab 1 or 2 today, but then if it drops, I average in and I grab some more, and then when it ultimately goes up, I can experience that benefit. Other people might just wait and be patient and wait for the trajectory to be up because right now it's dropping on a short-term
Yeah,
basis. So everyone can use their own approach there, right? Because you have to be comfortable and you have to be able to sleep at night with whatever decision you make there,
for sure.
right? So like I said, this one here, I mean, I would argue that right now this is a $40 stock, and depending on what share of the market they get, even if they get a piece of it, I think they're going to sell hundreds of millions of doses, even if they get just a piece of the action. And I think it
Yeah,
should be much, much more than hundreds of millions. That's going to provide them a ton of new revenue that just doesn't exist on their books. Again, this would be like if McDonald's made a new hamburger that sold hundreds of millions of them per year and they never existed before. It's just a whole new revenue stream that exists. And so I think this has a lot of room to climb up as opposed to a typical company that would grow slowly. I think this is going to grow quite explosively because it's a new revenue stream and potentially a lot of people in the world will need it. So
yeah.
I'm pretty bullish on this one long term. I don't know exactly where it can go to name off a number, but I mean, to go $50, $60 would be probably a pretty light target, I think, for 2021.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, even if you just say, okay, it's, um, because the Chinese, the Russians, they all have their own vaccines, I guess, right? They're all developing them, and even if you say Europe, U.S., Canada, that type of thing. I mean, that's still what, I don't know, not more. It's more than half a billion people. It's probably up to 700 to a billion, 700 million to a billion people that will take that. So again, even if it's 200 million, right? They get a fifth of that.
Yeah, and like I said, we'll have to see how it goes on a global basis. I think a lot of companies are going to be willing to piggyback with what America's doing. There'll be other countries like China and Russia they probably don't like America all that much politically, so they're going to do their own thing for profits and for political reasons, probably, right? But
Yeah,
I think a lot of other countries will say, well, where are the best scientists? And they might rely on a country like the United States. So
yeah. Well, I
it'll
mean, Pfizer is partnered with a German company, right? So,
Yeah, there you go, right? So I mean, they're connected all around the world, right? It's
yeah,
a big company. So again, this is something I'm watching that I think has long-term, lasting growth power, and it doesn't mean that I have to buy a call option with a 3-year expiry or a 2-year expiry. But there might be people that do that and choose a 1 or a 2-year expiry and say at some point in the next year or two, this company is going to experience massive growth, and I want to be there for it. Other people might say, well, I just want to get in for the next 2 or 3 months to catch a move on it when they're selling it to the nurses and the elderly people and the people at risk. And maybe I can get back in later in the year when they're giving it out to the masses. So
sure.
it kind of just depends on your approach here. But I think that there's some opportunity here if it's done appropriately and if you have the right metrics to get in and out.
Cool. All
Yeah.
right. Well, let's go look at NIO. NIO is a fun one.
NIO. Okay. This is the chart that everyone is afraid of and recently has kind of been um, messing with people. So
Oh, look,
I actually,
it's going up now. I mean, it dropped to huge today
well,
to open, but
yeah, barely. So this is a chart going back to the beginning of 2020. So you know how on most charts, when I pull it up, I'm saying, oh, here's the COVID drop. Well, here's the COVID drop. It's like nothing,
yeah, well, it
right?
already had dropped, right? Like it was, I mean, if you go back before that, it was a $10 stock and it fell to like a
Yeah.
$2 stock and then it bounced up a little bit, right? So,
Well, this action looks very minimal because it's skewed because of how much the stock has gone up. So if I zoom in here and then drag it backwards to where we just were, look how the data appears more choppy and more extreme when I'm
yeah,
going back, right? And
went down to
right,
a dollar. Yeah.
right, it goes literally all the way down back to $1 back here at the beginning of 2020. So you see how that looks. But when I do this here and I zoom in tight, all you really see is that big rally up because it's so aggressive that it skews the chart, right?
Yeah.
And so again, this here, I mean, NIO went from, let me pull up the number here. So just from about May of this year or so, or let's even go to the COVID drop, from the bottom of the COVID drop, and went from just under $2. It went all the way up here to around $57. Okay. So it literally went up about 25 or 30 times its value from the COVID drop onwards. So, I mean, that's part of why people have been afraid of it, because when you look at it, it's like, I mean, geez, look how much it's gone up. And, you know, when is this thing going to dip? Now, people were saying that and they were afraid of it when it was, you know, coming up to these levels up here. And I remember saying, you know, look, it's been pretty stable all year. It's actually gone up the whole time without any major drops, right? But at some point, it's going to take a major drop of some. We've been saying that about space as well. And as you can see, they've dropped massively over here right now. And they had really good earnings during this fall. They actually released good earnings. I think their sales and their revenue, one of them went up 18% and one of them went up 22%. They did really well, but they sold on this news. So it's kind of, it almost might be an opportunity. I mean, China's government is I think the biggest financial backer of this company. They're directly partnered, and I mean, their sales are up, and they're going to have, you know, people in China will probably buy this vehicle over a Tesla in a lot of cases, because they're going to probably get a better deal on it. They're going to be supporting their own economy and country, right? So, I mean,
well, plus, I mean, China in general just has huge EV discounts, right? Like, you can't you can't even register a gas car over there. Like to like it costs a ridiculous amount. So you buy an EV, and like I think the registration is like it's free type thing, right? So
okay, and that'll help too. But I mean, the EV craze is going global anyways. So you know, China's got the biggest population. So if a meaningful portion of their population starts buying NIO, I mean, my goodness, like they're going to have so many customers, right? Just because of their population. They have one of the fastest growing middle classes. There's all kinds of reasons why they could do well. So when I'm looking at NIO, here's kind of what I see. And for some of the people watching, they might not know exactly what I'm talking about. But remember when we went over Elliott Waves when I was coaching you and showing you some stuff there, Mark? I feel like that's what we're seeing here. So we have this big area where it was going kind of in a more sideways type consolidation. You know, it was going up, it was going down, but it wasn't actually rallying or charging up because they weren't really selling cars in a meaningful way yet. This rally where we broke up above the red line represents them making a lot more sales. You can actually see the volume at the bottom, these green and red bars. Look how much it picked up there. That's because they were selling cars, okay? And this happened with Tesla. So the breakout wave that goes into the big bull rally, and again, you can go Google this if you're watching, and this is something I go over with my coaching students. So here we have a move up above that area where we were going sideways for so long. And Elliott wave theory tends to say that we're going to go up in 5 major movements. Okay, and so this is wave 1. This little bump down here, I'm going to consider wave 2. And then I believe we just had a big wave 3, which is always the biggest of the 5 waves. And now we just went into wave 4. I think wave 5 is coming for NIO. Okay, so the exact timing of that, I don't know, but I would suspect it's going to come soon, whether it's this week or next week. It will probably start and going up into wave 5 and rally into the new year. So I don't know, when I'm looking at the charts, I'm often trying to predict when the next movement might be coming where I can make money. I'm going to say that this is going into a wave 5 of an Elliott wave soon. And this is a similar situation to gold. And we've gone over that as well, Mark. I've been watching wave 4 of gold dropping for weeks and weeks now. And I'm just waiting for the stimulus and waiting for the market to turn upwards for gold to go into wave 5. So that's the same thing I'm watching here right now. And I think a lot of people, if they're watching this, might not have been even aware what an Elliott wave is, or maybe how you might be able to use it. But I think this is actually going to be a nice opportunity very soon.
and if you're if you're aggressive, you can try to pick it, or you can come and you can say, okay, like I can, well, I mean, there's some support here,
I
you
was just going to
know,
point that one out. There's some major support right there. There's some
yeah.
major support right there. Now, can it drop lower?
Oh
Definitely
yeah.
it can.
And
Um,
then your next support's like down. Oh, you just,
Sorry, I just brought up the RSI. If you look at the RSI here, it's dropping like crazy. So it's gone from the 70s already down to about 43. And typically when the RSI gets towards 30, it's extremely oversold. And it's possible that NIO could drop further and go towards the 30 RSI here. It doesn't mean it must. It just means that if that happens, I mean, it will just create a greater opportunity when it finally does go back up, I think. So if you're going to buy blindly right now, I think you just need to see what happens on that resistance level that Mark, or sorry, the support level, I guess it would be over here that Mark just drew. There's some support in and around $38, it seems like. So,
yeah.
um,
So if you're aggressive, maybe you're selling calls at like 38 or $35, or sorry, calls, puts.
mhm.
I mean, you can watch that level as well to say, that's once it gets there and it hangs out there, maybe I'm buying calls. Um, obviously you're watching for it to dip below that. I mean, the next support level is down almost $24 there, right? So there's obviously big gaps when you get a chart like this. Um,
Yeah, the other thing I want to point out too here, Mark, one of the things I like to watch here. So I feel like I'm seeing a head and shoulders pattern right here too, right now.
yeah,
I feel like this is a head and shoulders pattern. And at the bottom of your head and shoulders is your neckline. This is your neckline. If it breaks through here, this is one of the most reliable and common topping patterns. And it's considered by traders to be one of the most reliable ones. If we go below here, typically you expect an extension to the downside of some sorts.
yeah.
So to me, I'm not going to rule out the possibility. I know this sounds crazy. I'm not going to rule out the possibility that NIO can go towards $30 or less. And I'm not saying it will, but as you can see, we have a head and shoulders pattern. If it goes a little lower, it triggers off algorithms for people to short the stock and to get rid of their positions. So that can very easily happen, in my opinion. I just want to make people aware of that because we're posting NIO. I don't want people to say, oh, it's going to go up because Mark and Mike said,
Right. So, and the reason I brought that up is basically because I'm like, it's, if you are going to be aggressive with it, you're watching those levels. I have alerts in my phone for those levels that say, hey, it dings and say, oh, it's down here or it's up
Yeah.
here. And basically, okay, I either have to get out at a loss or, I'm basically like, I'm watching because I'm not on my computer all day. I'm not on my phone all day
Yeah.
looking at this. So I set alerts so I know when certain things do certain things, right?
Yeah, you want to be really watching this where I drew that red X. You want to see if we go into this area, again, that could be a completed head and shoulders pattern that leads to a little bit of a continued move down. And I'm going to be very cautious on that. And before we started this video, I actually told Mark, I don't really want to buy NIO right now, to be honest with you. I'm watching it.
No. Yeah. Whereas I might sell some puts on it.
Yeah, and if I'm going to play it, I would probably sell puts. But again, do you want to go tight to the money to get paid on your puts? Because if you're going to do that, you're going to have to watch it drop now, right? So it's a bit tricky. And I think if you set it at $28, you won't get paid much, right? Because $28 is kind of below that area where I said we should get support. I don't know how much you're going to get paid to say, it's not going to go below $28. It's $40 right now.
So okay, it's just coming up on the screen here.
So $28 is paying me 61 cents for January 15th. So one month, so it's paying me a little bit over 2%.
Yeah, so again, it's not that, I mean, it depends on your perspective. To me, that's not that much. I try to want to make 1% or more a week, but if someone is choosing safer strike prices, you're never going to make that anyway. So $28 is a safe strike. You're not really going to make 1 or 2% a week on that. So
right. So if you want 1% a week and you're looking January 15th, you're looking at a $31.
Exactly. And now you're taking more risk because, as I just showed you, it can go below $31. But So you have to choose what you want to do here. For me, I don't really I don't really trust China that much, and I don't really trust their government that much, and I just feel like I don't know that I'd want to invest in something like this while it's actively dropping. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe I'll sell a put on something else if I want to sell a put personally.
Yeah.
That's all.
No. Hey, listen, we just bring these charts up. Don't trade just because Mark and Mike do it.
Don't not trade because Mark and Mike do it. Do your own due diligence. Do your own work at this. That's it.
Even when we went over Tesla, there's people that just hate Tesla and don't trust it, so they didn't invest in it, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Look at this. NIO's popping up now.
Is it? Oh yeah. You know what? I should point something else out to people too. When you look at the NIO chart itself here, if you look at it, it's actually reacting live. If you look at the price here where it says $40.62, if that goes up to $40.80, we'll literally see it pop up live on our screen. It will morph upwards and downwards with, see, $40.63. I kind of like that about TradingView, just to point that out to your audience, is that it tracks the live price.
Yeah, I like that too about TradingView. So, yeah. And obviously you're paying for TradingView, right?
Yeah, I mean, they actually had just a Boxing Day special, which was 60% off. They'll probably have Black Friday. They'll probably have a Boxing Day one for Christmas too. If people want to sign up for it, you get a better deal on it. And yeah, it's a convenient chart, and you can scroll in and out really easily to get your different timelines, and it holds your technical analysis after you've already drawn it. It'll actually hold your technical analysis. So if I draw a line here and then I scroll in and out, it actually holds that line. And this green candle will move in live time around my support level.
So guys, this is not an advertisement for TradingView. I actually don't use it. I still use stockcharts.com, and I use the free version. We don't endorse it. We're not paid by it. I just have to say that. I don't even know if I have to say that. Anyways, Mike, thanks so much for coming on. If you guys like this stuff, comment down below. I appreciate Mike coming on and helping us with all this type of stuff. And if you guys are interested in stuff like this, Invest Like Mike. We'll put his Facebook group down below, and that's probably the best way to reach you, isn't it? Oh, you have a course coming up in January too, right? So you have a course where you go, it's a weekend course where you take everyone through all these charting and everything. It's going to be on Zoom, so you can do it anywhere in the world.
Yeah, like if anyone's watching this video, the way I just went through and did the head and shoulders pattern and did my analysis, this is the way I teach my course. And so I'm actually doing a classroom training in January. We have a couple weekends we're doing it. It's on my website, investlikemike.com, or my Facebook group. And basically, I'm going to go from A to Z explaining, what the head and shoulders pattern is, what a chart is, what a candle is on a candle chart, going right from the beginning steps, because I'm sure a lot of people just watched me do that head and shoulders pattern and have no idea what I just did there. I mean, it's something new to most people. That's something that people rely on. Professionals in the industry rely on these type of patterns. And obviously, if I can be on that same level with them, then I'm going to be able to track things more accurately. So I try to explain things in a way that's easy to understand so that people can really recognize these chart patterns and then add in the strategy that I use to invest with them. So if anyone is interested, you're always welcome to reach out, and I love teaching. So
good. All right, guys, if you guys like this stuff, definitely subscribe down below. We're all about building wealth on the Mark Loeffler Experience. Smash the like button for Mike. Talk to you guys soon.